of London is not the official name of this imposing ancient fortress. The full name of the tower is actually Her, or His, Majesty's Royal Palace and Fortress, the Tower of London. We were recently there to take you on an exclusive tour when there were almost no other people around. It's a weird and unforgettable experience which we loved. So join us for a quick overview of the fortress's history and highlights from the past 1,000 years. Hi, I'm James, and before we get into the nitty-gritty of the tower, don't forget to hit the red subscribe button below to get Via Travelers updates on our favourite destinations from around the world. The Tower of London, situated on the banks of the River Thames on Tower Hill, is a sight to behold. Originally a royal home, it has been transformed throughout the years into the Royal Armoury and a jail with a gruesome past. It was built in a strategic location under the orders of William the Conqueror, partly as a royal residence and holdout, and, so it could be seen from a distance, as a reminder of who was now in charge. In 1066, following his victory at the Battle of Hastings, William constructed the tower in order to consolidate his control over the English capital city. Of course, the city has evolved dramatically since then, and the tower that once loomed over medieval London is now dwarfed by the skyline of the 21st century. Due to the fact that you can access the grounds by the Bywood Tower in the southwest corner, the grounds are now operating on a one-way basis. The yeoman warders, commonly and slightly erroneously known as beefeaters, greet us as we pass the walls and portcullis. Since the 1400s, they have served as guardians of the tower, protecting the crown jewels, and have provided guided tours since the Victorian era. All are veterans of the British Armed Forces and have been so for centuries. Until 1810, the Royal Mint was located near the tower on Mint Lane, right in the heart of London. Continuing along Water Lane, we arrive at Traitors Gate, which was once a canal access to the Tower of London from the Thames for King Edward I, but became more famous for the transportation of captives to the tower. According to accounts from the time, a barge may have brought Anne Boleyn through here before she was executed for high treason on the orders of King Henry VIII. The famed Bloody Tower was given this nickname because of the strange disappearance of two young princes detained there by dastardly Richard III, ostensibly for their safety. After imprisonment in 1483, the young deposed Edward V and his brother Richard, Duke of York, both known as the Princes in the Tower, were never seen or heard from again, until the remains of two boys were discovered beneath the steps of one of the towers in 1674. The remains were interred in Westminster Abbey, where they are widely thought to be the prince's remains, which is yet to be confirmed. Because of COVID-related restrictions, it was not possible to visit the torture exhibition, which includes a fascinating collection of horrible tools of agony. Still, there's always next time. While you're visiting the tower, you'll likely run into the ravens that live there. It is supposed that if the 6 resident ravens ever depart the castle, the monarchy and the tower will come crumbling down. After being informed of this potential calamity, it is believed that Charles II, first on the English throne after the restoration of the monarchy in 1660, was the first to request that the ravens of the tower be safeguarded, according to legend. Today, the tradition is kept, and 7 ravens, 6 of whom are breeding and 1 of whom is not, are allowed to wander the grounds that are lovingly cared for by the warders. If there are any real beef-eaters at the tower, it is the ravens, who are each given a healthy daily ration of beef sourced from a local butcher. On top of the renowned white structure, which is also the tallest and most valuable tower from a military standpoint, lies the former residence of William the Conqueror and select members of his court. It is also home to a royal chapel. We'll discover more about this construction in a moment. Tower Green is a lovely plaza within the castle, but there is much more to it than meets the eye. According to historical records, the Tudor-era structures, including the Queen's House, were most likely constructed for Anne Boleyn before her coronation in 1533. Ironically, it was also the location where she was detained before her death. The home is continuously guarded by a sentry to this day. Residences and offices for the yeoman warders, some of whom reside on site, are housed in the various cottages that are dotted around the green. It was Sir Walter Raleigh who looked after the little apothecary garden near the entrance to the Bloody Tower. The garden has been recreated near the Bloody Tower entrance. He was formerly a favourite of Elizabeth I, but after falling out with James I, he was imprisoned here 3 times before being executed at Westminster. In the shadow of the Royal Chapel, a number of heads rolled on Tower Green. The most notable are 3 former queens, Anne Boleyn, Catherine Howard, and Lady Jane Grey. Both Anne and Catherine were married to cantankerous Henry VIII and were accused of infidelity, amongst other things. Coincidence? Probably the same bastard husband. Lady Jane Grey, the 9-day queen, legal heir to Edward VI, and innocent victim of a Catholic coup, was also executed here, by order of the brutal Mary I. This sculpture pays tribute to people who were sentenced to death by the state. Waterloo Block, a former barracks for 800 troops, is now home to the Crown Jewels, and is our final destination in the tower. Armed guards monitor the perimeter of the Jewel House to ensure that no one enters or leaves the building. On the inside, you'll find the most powerful emblems of the monarchy, as well as a world-famous collection of diamonds valued at a whopping £3 billion. The coronation regalia and imperial state crown, which are at the center of the collection, are the highlights. Unfortunately, these treasures are so sacred, there is no video or photography allowed inside. The White Tower, constructed to ward off foreign invaders and intimidate the inhabitants of London, is arguably the most recognized castle keep in the world. The UNESCO World Heritage Site regularly receives almost 3 million visitors per year. But today's COVID-stymied crowds would lead you to believe otherwise. It's hard to realize that this structure has been standing for nearly 1,000 years. Since the 15th century, the White Tower has housed an extensive collection of armaments and armor. The department, which was known as the King's Privy Wardrobe at the time, was located within the walls of the Tower of London and was responsible for producing armor and weaponry for the king and his armies. By the reign of Charles II, the tower had a permanent collection of captured Spanish weapons on display, making it the world's first museum. A collection of antiques, many of which belong to past kings of England, may be found on display today. However, only a portion of this prized collection is on display at any one time. The Chapel of St. John the Evangelist, widely recognized as one of the finest specimens of Romanesque architecture in the world, was almost certainly frequented by the royal family while they were on official business. Despite the fact the upper level was locked when we visited, you can still see an authentic executioner's block from the 18th century, as well as an axe that may have been used in the Tudor times. The River Thames and Tower Bridge may be easily seen as we leave the tower behind, as well as the unmissable London Eye. It is on the east side of the tower that we find both the headquarters of the Royal Regiment of Fusiliers and a former hospital building that has been transformed into a workshop. You may have observed the elephant and wondered what it was doing in the tower, and you're not alone. Believe it or not, the Tower of London was home to London's first zoo, which was established as a consequence of kings trading exotic animals as presents. In the 12th century, the King of France sent an elephant to London, and the city's residents rushed to view it, resulting in more royal presents being added to this living collection. By the 19th century, the menagerie had begun to deteriorate, and many animals were relocated. The animal population of today's London Zoo is based on the original collection. As we stroll down the banks of the Thames after departing the Tower of London, you'll get a chance for great views of Traitors Gate. For more information on advanced reservations, visit the tower's website, which will also provide information on what is available inside the tower and when it's open. Thanks for watching. Check out our 10 best things to do in London video for additional information on well-known London attractions, and be sure to hit that subscribe button below. You can also check out our Instagram at Via Travelers, and you can also join our free travel newsletter at viatravelers.com. Until next time, cheerio.